seen for generations. A Dyad in the Force.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dyad in the Force. Dyad 99, our episode before the 100th one, which is going to be a nice and tasty cookout. We're just going to go live from our phones, or phone, and just eat and hang out with everyone in the chats. No one is obligated to kind of tune in to watch us eat, but hey, mukbangs are popular. We're going to have Camilla there, Danielle Silverstone, and St. Pat, as well as Choco, I think, but I'm not sure. Oh, now we can't hear Choco.
I think he's muted.
He might be.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a Choco there. We will have a Mrs. Choco there.
Hey.
We're gonna have a Dimitri there, and aren't we? Am I mistaken? Are we not going to have a
Xanthi is also there.
Xanthi? Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to add, I feel naked on stream without a hat. So there's that.
I didn't even
I
notice.
recognize myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't notice that stuff either. Choco is Choco. Or Choco if you're nasty. We are joined by Allison of Deathamere. If you can introduce yourself to everyone in the chat and let them know where they can find you on social medias.
Hi, so my name's Allison. You can find me on TikTok with my username right down there in the lower left corner. We'd love to have you. You can follow me on Instagram from there if you'd like. You definitely don't have to. TikTok is where all of my Star Wars content is, and we have a good time. So feel free to follow.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. I think your first appearance was actually a watch party, but this is fine anyway. Let's see. Let's shout out some people in the chat. We got Obi-Wan, Darthman86. Obi-Wan saying early squad. Let's go. Thank you. We got Emperor in the chat. Is this recorded or live? No, this is this is.
This is recorded.
This is recorded.
We are recording,
and I am
1
actively
second before you see it.
And I'm actively editing it in real time. A St. Pat, Cal says, I'm so far behind on Andor this week's episode, but that's too far for me, so I can't stay. But just want to say, love you all. May the Force be with you. Love you too, Cal.
How is St. Pat? He's a separatist. I feel like this is his bread and butter.
Oh no, not St. Pat. That was Cal.
Oh.
But may the Force be with you, Cal. Thanks for joining us and saying hi. We have Nedrex, Connor, and let's see here. We have Obi-Wan, who I believe joined the Dyad Squadron.
Ooh, nice.
Thank you so much for joining, Obi-Wan. We really appreciate the love and support. Let's see here. Also, St. Pat, 17 months, Dyad Squadron.
Wow.
17 months is such a long time to watch The Awesome. I don't know if I can parse that syntax, but it is what it is. We appreciate your love and support, St. Pat. That's probably separatist speak. Who knows?
You're starting to sound like a separatist.
Yes. Pick a ship, Obi-Wan. And just so you're familiar with what that means, this is our Dyad Squadron hangar. And
he was going to be like, Obity. And you're like, that's not, no, not that.
Not that kind of ship.
Got a ship.
Not the repose.
And just for example's sake, Choco's in his Tri-Wing, and I'm in the Fang Mandalorian Fighter. We got a whole bunch of ships here. We can always add some new ones, but if one that exists interests you, I'd appreciate it because it makes editing it a little bit easier. Hello, Ven Skywalker. Good evening, Brian with the beard. Brian with the bread. Brian with the beard bread.
Big gingerbreaded breaded Brian. We love you.
I don't know when's the last time I did that, but it feels good to do it at least once every couple of months. So, okay, let's go on to announcements really quickly. Allison, do you have any announcements you'd like to make? Anything kind of like coming up content-wise or cosplays?
No, nothing coming up too recently. I think that this is the last thing I have scheduled. I did do the Way Seekers podcast last week on the last episode of Andor. So if you'd like to go back and watch that, you totally can. But I think I'm all caught up on all my special events.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely go back and check that out. Choco, do you have any announcements?
Upcoming High Ground podcast Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. As upcoming, we should be having the Nerdy Nightly. We'll have those two on, as well as Young will be making another appearance, and others. So it'll always be a good time. Yeah, Wednesdays 5 p.m. Pacific time. And more importantly, thank you guys for hanging out with us. People keep talking about like, oh, why is nobody talking about Andor? Nobody's talking about Andor. I talk about Andor so much that it's hard to parse other things, and it's wild. I'm not making a lot of Andor content because of how much I'm talking about Andor. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, also Andor. See, the thing is, the conversation around Andor is substantive, right? Whereas other shows has a lot of hate watchers and a lot of just hate, like people spewing hate, and then that's where, the conversation devolves. Whereas there's nothing much bad to say about Andor, and if you are saying something bad, it's like, what's wrong with you?
Why?
Yeah.
But most of the conversations are positive, so we don't have a lot of like noise, but people are talking about it. Okay, Obi-Wan chooses the Mantis. Got it. So we have another Fallen Order fan in the Dyad Squadron. Let's see. In terms of announcements, our last week's winner did not reach out, did not reply. I tried to reply to their comment. I tagged them in a community post. I unfortunately don't have their phone number. If I did, I would have called them. But that means we get to pick another winner. And so it's time to pick that winner. Allison, I don't know if you commented on the giveaway video.
I'm not sure if I did. I think I thought about it, but I think I might have been like, oh, that might be, sometimes when I think about like a contest, I'm like, who would benefit more from like winning this? Me or someone who like maybe watches and consumes the content a little more. So I don't know if I did or not, honestly. But if I didn't, it was intentional because I did see it. I definitely thought about it though.
Okay, well, let's go to the raffle. On the right, you see what is up for grabs. It's a Rain Kylo Dyad art piece by Matsumoto Art, framed and ready for you to hang in your collection. And now we have a new winner to pick, and I'm going to hit start. And I don't know what this one's going to do, but we are going to get another winner. So we don't have a drum roll. So if you can count us down, Allison.
All right, let's do it. Start at 5 or 3. What's more exciting?
It's totally up to you.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is exciting.
Rams
How?
Oh,
Their comment, my favorite moment is probably the throne room when Kylo killed Snoke. I loved when Snoke threw the room across the
I like
ship.
how it spelled like Thrawn. I at first read that like Thrawn room. Maybe we should start calling them throne rooms like that in honor of Thrawn.
I don't know if I'm having a monitor problem or an eye problem, but it's not legible at all to me. I have no idea what that is. I couldn't
Do you wear glasses
Literally
or contacts?
No, I've always had excellent eyesight. It might just be resolution related.
Probably.
It's a little blurry for me, but I
she
can
has the
still make
Force.
it out. Yeah, I'm the Force. I can read it.
Okay, so we'll be reaching out to Ramshow in the comments. We'll reply, make a community post. I do believe they're on TikTok as well, so reach out. But if anybody knows Ramshow, please let them know that they are a winner of this art piece. It's so pretty. I know it is, isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
Okay, so back to the stage. We have our winner, Ramshow. And that should take care of that. Our first segment. Oh wait, I have something to. I hear an echo somewhere. Never mind, it was my own phone. Okay. Our first segment is a fandom crawl. Is there anything that Ramshow is my brother? Just send it to my address. It's fine. I have to verify that. But if that turns out to be the case, then I will send it. Just gotta verify with Ramshow. Anything interesting in the fandom space?
Fandom space for me, at least, has pretty neatly dried up. And so right now for me, it's Star Wars, it's anime, and it's Shark Tank.
Interesting.
Because I do love business. I'm at this weird cross position of like capitalism is bad, but I also really enjoy business and like business deals and stuff like. Maybe it's because I've worked in the financial industry for a very long time. But yeah, apart from that, just trying to catch up on my Bleach. Chainsaw Man is just doing its thing. I'm still a little behind on that, but like Star Wars and anime are hitting hard right now. I do miss House of the Dragon Sundays, and I feel like we may need to institute like a rewatch of Game of Thrones on Sundays. Also, I have not watched all of Game of Thrones, so.
Oh, interesting. Well, that could be arranged. Although Sundays is a little bit difficult. Maybe we can do something during the week, perhaps. Or you could solo it, but
perhaps. Also, here's something Pep and I were talking about in private, but I'm gonna say this live because I'm just gonna throw this out there. You know, we wanted to do things beyond Star Wars where we're reacting to different projects and stuff that are just like, popping out or coming off, or things we've never seen that like normal human beings should have seen by this time. Let's watch the first few episodes of Blockbuster on Netflix. It seems like a lot of people are talking about that. I have not seen any of it, and I would like to.
What is Blockbuster?
Just dropped on Netflix. Just dropped on Netflix, and it is a story about the last Blockbuster in existence, which seems petty on Netflix's point of view, because I used to work for Netflix, right? I was in their call center, and Reed Hastings literally tried to sell it to Blockbuster, and they turned him down and basically told him his idea was stupid.
Wow.
The whole thing started, Reed Hastings mailed a DVD to himself to see how it would come out, and it worked. And if you guys remember that Netflix mostly mailed out DVDs, the literal reason that Reed Hastings named it Netflix is because he saw that streaming would take over physical media. That's why it was named Netflix.
That's very interesting.
It is interesting.
Hello, Star Wars Sag.
This knowledge is coming from 2014. Yeah. So anyone who like says, nah, it was after the fact. No, it was literally, I was told this while I was there almost like 10 years ago. So, yeah.
So it's a TV show about the last,
blockbuster.
Is it like a sitcom or like camp at all, or?
Yeah. No, it's a comedy. And it should be. Yeah. It seems like it's going to be very funny. It's got Randall Park as the main. Melissa Fumero from Brooklyn Nine-Nine is coming back for it. It's got JB Smoove. I love JB Smoove. No, it's got a great cast. So I want to jump into it. I haven't because I've been wanting to match into it.
Yeah, we could do that. I was also kind of like floating. The idea was floating around my head about whether or not we could also do Supernatural, because that's something that's like a wall that I never thought I'd climb. But if people are interested to see us both watch it for the first time, it's a big hill.
If people are interested, I've never seen a single episode.
I have never either.
I don't want to, but yeah, if the people say it, it's true. It's not that I'm opposed to it. It's that I've dealt with Supernatural fans.
Yeah, but you've also dealt with Star Wars fans.
That should tell you what. Never mind.
They're different. They're very different, I feel like. But similar. It's like Supernatural fans, like, they don't... It's like they hate the supernatural, but they also... It's like they have an unhealthy attachment to it, but they, like, acknowledge that. And so when you try to, like, you know, get into that space, they're kind of like, this is my emotional support, like, terrible show that I like, I feel like. And they're very, like, emotionally defensive of it. As for Star Wars fans, it's like, you know, the classic, nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans. It's like we yell at each other about the things we hate because we love it so much. So it's like, it's a different dynamic, I think, the Supernatural fans and the Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Both very tumultuous. I'll give you that.
We love our tumult. I think we could do it though.
When you said that, I felt fear. but I'm willing to try it.
I need Pep's thoughts on the show. Supernatural is great. We'll see. I mean, I literally have not seen anything on Supernatural. It's one of those, it's kind of like, it's my Doctor Who. Like, I've seen Doctor Who, but there's like how many seasons of Supernatural? So it's like, I don't know where to begin other than, like, of course, like, episode 1 is where you begin.
Yeah.
Like, right now I'm even like trying to catch up to One Piece. And that's
Oh my
like 1,000
gosh.
episodes plus.
What episode are you on?
I think I'm on episode 74.
Whew. You're gonna be there for a while.
I know. I've signed on for the long term.
Episode 74 out of how many? 1,000.
Oh god.
It's just funny. I'm in so in my early 20s, I cashed my chips in on Star Wars and being a Chad. There's so many cool things and interesting franchises and stuff that I missed out on. That there are, and also being a nerd is actually a lot better. But those were my parkour days. Those were my competitive lifting days. Those were my wakeboarding days. Stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like there's momentum to be had for first time watches for either of us. There's a lot of things that, you know, I think for me, Star Wars was very, very huge. Lord of the Rings was huge. And so there are other fandoms that I just never got into. And it'll be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Nedrex says I would totally
Allison.
watch all of Supernatural alongside you guys.
Okay. I'm uncomfortable, but let's try it. Another thing to throw out in the same vein is Smallville. I watched the first episode and I was like, it's too angsty for me, but it does have a very, very, very dedicated fan base, and I feel like if you were to take the two fan bases, it would be pretty close to a circle in a Venn diagram. But Allison, other than Star Wars, outside of Star Wars, what is your fandom? What's your other bread and butter?
Well, I have a few. So I love Doctor Who. I'm behind on some of the newer seasons because, like, I didn't have HBO for a while, and then now I've heard that Disney is going to have Doctor Who. So I haven't seen any of the 13th Doctor's stuff, but I'm caught up until that point. So I'm a big Who fan, which also
the 10th is your favorite.
They have. Oh man, I love David Tennant. He's probably my favorite. I also love Peter Capaldi though. Kind of unpopular opinion. I think he's great. I also like anime. I'm not like an anime watcher where it's like I have to watch only anime, but I have like my shows that I ride or die for, like Attack on Titan. So when Attack on Titan was coming out, the second part of season 4, I was just an emotional wreck every single week. So I have that. I'm trying to think. I feel like when you're a huge nerd for like a couple things, you can't, adding on more stuff is just impossible. So I feel like I never got too into Marvel or DC, which everyone always just assumes I'm a Marvel fan because I'm a Star Wars fan, but it's really like, it's too late for me now. Like I can't catch up to all that Marvel has.
I think you can start with the shows. I don't know. Like to me, like being in the weeds of it all isn't as important. You know, I think there are a lot of people who'd be like, "Oh, you didn't watch all 25 movies. What's wrong with you?" Like, I don't know. I think if you were a fan of Hawkeye, you could start with the Hawkeye show and still kind of enjoy it. If you are a fan of She-Hulk, She-Hulk is a great show for you to watch.
Really,
I really enjoyed the show. I don't even. It was hilarious to me watching the slow unfolding where all the toxic fans realized that they were actually the villain of the first season. The way the show did that was utterly hilarious. And then the interviews later make it better when the director's like, yeah, we wrote that 3 years ago. We knew what they were going to say, when they were going to say it, and how they were going to say it, because they're dumb. And that kind of just also made me happy.
Yeah, it's a great show. I mean, you wouldn't have to be caught up in the MCU to enjoy it.
Okay. I thought about doing WandaVision as well. I heard that was good, but I just was kind of afraid that I didn't have enough of the Marvel lore. But I've seen all the Avengers movies, so I probably do.
If you've seen all the Avengers movies, especially when it comes to like WandaVision, the character of Wanda Maximoff wasn't even introduced until the third. Like, she was introduced deep into Marvel, but like, if you were a TV fan growing up, you will understand Marvel, a WandaVision, more than the average WandaVision fan. I found that the average Marvel fan had never grown up watching I Love Lucy. Had never grown up watching like all of these staples of TV show, which the first few episodes go through all of the regular tropes of TV shows from the 50s, from the 60s, from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s. And a lot of the fan discourse was people just not, what is happening? What is, and you're like, you didn't, God, you guys are children. This is crazy.
Yeah.
If you know any of that stuff, any of it, you'll love WandaVision for sure.
Okay, I might have to give it a shot. Okay, you kind of sold me.
I Love Lucy.
I might have to.
Cheers.
Yeah, I love all of those.
Step by Step. Family Matters.
I feel like if you grew up as a kid before like having a lot of TV channels, because I remember like once I got to be like a teenager, there were you could have satellite TV and have a bunch of TV channels. But if you grew up where like you've got like 20 TV channels, you couldn't avoid watching Cheers or I Love Lucy or like a bunch of shows like that.
Is it safe to assume you were born before 1993?
1993? No, actually.
Oh, okay.
I was born in 1997, but I also lived like in a really rural like town in the middle of nowhere. So satellite TV, like if you had to get it, you had to have like a giant dish in your front yard, even though like the technology existed to have the smaller dishes at that time. Like I just don't think that it worked where I was. So we got things a little later where I'm from.
Not bad.
Yeah. So maybe that's why I'm an old soul. I have never felt old until like TikTok, I think, though.
I don't feel old until I physically hurt.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, and then also at work, like I'll be like seeing like kids as patients, and it's like, wait a second, like you were born in 2005. How is that even real? How are you even like a teenager right now? That's insanity to me.
It hurts my brain.
Okay, so I am all right.
People are
so
born.
Full disclosure: black people don't go to the doctor. They should.
You're right.
A lot of us have had bad experiences in the past.
Absolutely.
It's a whole generational thing, and there's way more to unpack for that. But kind of carried over to me, and then like recently, I'm like, you know what? I need to, there's a lot of stuff I need to get straight. Start going to it. I tell you, man, meeting doctors that are younger than you is wild. You know what I mean? Like, no, the doctor is an old white man. That's what a doctor is, and then like
for me, there's a really old Filipino
my,
lady.
like my sleep study, and I'm like, you were like, that's weird. For some reason, like all my doctors are like young women, and it's weird.
Women have like, I think the year that I started medical school, I think was the first year in history where like a majority of students were women instead of men. So it's like there's a huge, I think, culture shift about to come into medicine. But you're totally right, because I walk in the room and people are just like, literally, why is this child speaking to me?
Wait, you're okay. So what field are you?
But it
in?
makes sense though, because like right now, like there are far more women like college graduates than there are men, and like, but there's this. I don't know.
I smell profit.
Ven_Skywalker
that.
super chatted a $4.99 ramen drop.
Oh,
I was
Patrick
born in
has arrived.
2000 and me, and there's more?
Yeah, that whole sound was like a thing. 2000 and there's more, like 2000 and I don't know, it's wild.
It's real wild.
What field are you in?
So I haven't finished yet, but I want to go into pediatrics. So I get to feel old forever, no matter what, which is awesome. But I think kids keep you young. They're really funny. I had a teenager the other day who described her mood as mid. And I was like, imagine if you told that to someone who was like 50. They would probably be like, what? So I
still don't even fully understand what mid means. You know what I mean? Like mid is like a C? Like mid is middle,
yeah,
right?
Like mid-tier.
So it's not bad.
No.
It's
I
average.
I will say I had someone in my TikTok comments the other day. I have not gotten any negative TikTok comments about Andor until this one. And they were trying to say the show was boring. Like they were talking about how boring the show was. And they called it mid-door. And I was just kind of like, that's new. It's creative. It's wrong, but it's creative.
Midgar?
I guess.
That's what it is. I think that's what it is. it's hard for me to feel old because Gen Z just takes things that Black people have been saying for the past 25 years, and I'm like, this is like the regular way we speak. Is this? I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely been a criticism of,
Oh my
of some
gosh.
of the younger generations.
I saw a streamer. I think Kai is what he's like a very relatively new one, and people were going hard on other streamers for supposedly using AAVE, and he was looking at this AAVE chart and he's like, this isn't AAVE. This is all like how people like in the streaming culture talks, and it's just they've gone too far.
It's co-opted.
It just goes right back to I was gonna make a TikTok on it today about like, hey, what's a saying from a TV show that's like more profound than it was written to be? And for me, that's The Office, when Dwight tries to make a gym and he's like, first you got to get the Black people to start doing it, that way you can get the white people to start doing it, then you have to get the Black people to stop doing it.
That's exactly correct.
Let's see here in the chat. Nedrick says, I'm 19. Recently felt very old since it's Wreck-It Ralph's 10th anniversary. I saw that twice in a cinema. Oh, Nedrick. You got a lot of youngins.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I don't want to think about 30. Kenny says, I'm 36, and every time I talk about like gargoyles, gargoyles. Yes. Brooklyn was my favorite. And it's like, what's that? Right on. Obi-Wan is, I'm 35. I was 14 when Fellowship of the Ring came out. Yes. I was 12, I think. 12, 13. Yeah, I think.
Yes. So people talk about like, oh, why do we keep remaking stuff? Why do we keep remaking? It's because you are old enough to remember it.
Yeah.
Half of the people going to the theater didn't watch it there.
Oh no, I was like 16, 17. Never mind.
Why would they make a live action version of The Lion King? Allison wasn't alive when The Lion King came out.
I need my Lion King fix. But no, you're totally right. And I think that's why, like, I don't think the Skywalker saga is done by any stretch of the imagination. I really don't. I think 15, 20 years from now, there's going to be some sort of continuation of it, just because I think they're going to want to keep the original legacy of Star Wars going, just to introduce new fans to it. And I'm cool with that. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who aren't.
Do you think they're going to keep the episode title thing exclusive to the Skywalker saga? So if they don't continue it, if they do like sequel era movies, it's just going to be the movie title. And then like 20 years from now, when you think that they're going to continue it and bring it back, it's going to be episode 10.
I hope so. I genuinely hope so, because I think if you had some sort of like, let's say you make it some movie series about the Old Republic, I wouldn't want it to be called the Old Republic Episode 1. I would want it to be more like Lord of the Rings, where it's just like, this is the title of the movie, and you have to just know what order to watch them in, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that would be way too confusing if it's like, so this is Star Wars Episode 2, and this is the Old Republic Episode 2. I wouldn't personally be a fan of that. And I also hope that they don't stick with the trilogy thing. I hope they break away from that. It's that's Skywalker saga dependent. Think about like a lot of stories need more than 3 movies, and some stories really just need to be 1 movie. So I'm kind of hoping and I think Kathleen Kennedy has said like, we want to break away from trilogy-esque stuff. So I hope
Well,
that.
I mean, I think the nature of storytelling has changed,
Mhm.
and I think Marvel had a lot to do with that. Like you by telling long form stories, you get to a point. Before it was one and done, one and done, one and done, one and done. Maybe we'll get it to 2 movies, maybe we get 3 movies. But like now, if you are telling a story, you can't have a character go through an arc, and I think Thor is going through this right now because he had a 3-movie arc and was in the Avengers movies, and I think his 3-character arc was very compelling, and it told a complete story. And then he has this whole story of loss, and I feel like they don't know what to do now, and I now want to see him get 3 arcs as a new dad to this new character, because that's a whole new journey. But you can't keep the same magic as you had the first time. You just can't. The character changes throughout the first movie. They change to the second movie. They change to the third movie. They've evolved as a character. If you loved them because of who they were, you can't tell that story again. And I think that's one thing that, I think people wanted Luke Skywalker to be an action figure. He got power-ups and things that have the third movie of his arc starts out. There was no arc between the second and third movie. It just starts with him knowing all these abilities, being a badass, and doing all these cool things. And that was awesome. But 30 years later, if you don't imagine that there was a story in between those 30 years, those 40 years, I feel like that's bad storytelling. That's bad character design. I don't know.
Agree.
Yeah, you won't find much disagreement here. I think one of my earlier viral videos was me outlining the 10-movie saga of the Old Republic with the Star Forge and the Dark Council and the Triumvirate and stuff like that, and it was all relatively just Star Wars: The Old Republic and then the title of the movie, kind of like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'd love that.
The only reason you need a number is if it's a continuation of a set story. Rogue One is not a continuation of any story. It should be called Rogue One. Yeah. Solo was not a continuation of any story. I want a Solo 2, by the way.
Is it going to be called Duo?
Dos. Solo is technically numbered if you think about it hard enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll call it Dyad, the second one.
It's just going to be us at our microphones.
I would love that
too. For 3.5 hours.
A big old boost in views, not for the right reasons.
Ven Skywalker
on Solo too. Oh, go ahead.
Ven Skywalker was 4 when the Fellowship of the Ring came out. Wow. I felt like Gordon Ramsay when I said that. Wow.
You were talking about gargoyles, and I was like, nah, man. Because we all had our own camps. I was Camp Darkwing Duck. That was mine. I
was on that too. There was Jesus. Before there was Tailspin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Which was a weird show because they were like, let's take all the characters from Jungle Book. And now they're in the 50s. What was that pitch meeting like? All right, you remember the bear Blue? All right, so he's a pilot. And you know what? Shere Khan is like an evil CEO of a corporation.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? No. That was a weird show, but I loved it. I felt like growing up, you were either Team Ninja Turtles or Team Power Rangers, but you were never both.
I was both.
Interesting.
I was weird.
Wait. There was no preference.
I don't know if
like,
I could articulate
I love
a
Star
preference
Trek,
at that age.
I love Star Wars, but
Yeah.
growing up, it's like you have to. There was a team thing, you know. Star Wars.
I don't know, because I feel like back then there was no competition with the time slots that they would air. I think back then, like, if I could articulate a preference, knowing what I know now, it would probably be Power Rangers. But I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
You know, Pep, I would agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. Allison, growing up, what was your bread and butter?
Between Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja
No,
Turtles?
just in
Bread
general.
and butter. When I was really little, like 4 or 5, when I first started like remembering watching cartoons, very much Powerpuff Girls, SpongeBob.
Yes.
SpongeBob was pretty consistent. Powerpuff Girls didn't have that long of a runtime, I don't think, and didn't quite have the same hype that SpongeBob had.
That was so good.
It was so good. I loved Powerpuff Girls. I remember my 4th birthday. Well, I don't really remember my 4th birthday that much, but I have pictures of it. And it's like I was wearing a Powerpuff Girls shirt. I had a Powerpuff Girls birthday cake, Powerpuff Girls pinata. Like, I really, my personality since the moment I was born, I think, is just like, you like this thing and do that thing to the most extreme degree. And that's how I'm here with you all today talking about Star Wars, is I just
Okay,
evolve.
so that leads to the secondary question.
Yeah.
Which of the girls were you?
I was Bubbles, obviously. I was just this little blonde child, you know. Yeah, we didn't want to judge, but I was definitely Bubbles. I identified with all the blonde characters as a child, which thankfully for me, there were plenty of those in media. So I'm definitely
I
glad now
with
that
all the green characters.
Okay. He's like Hulk, Green Lantern.
Skeeter was like bluish green.
Oh
That's
jeez.
funny.
Talking about
Yeah.
the old ones, but like preteen me. Does anybody remember David the Gnome and like Eureka's Castle
Eureka's Castle
with Magellan?
Yeah. I
That was the jam.
That was a weird puppet show, and I thought no one else ever talking about it. I see in the chat, Obi-Sean's talking about Biker Mice from Mars, which I just want. Super Ninja Pizza Cats. I never saw that, but I feel like that was clearly. They're like, you know what? We're gonna do this thing with. We saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're gonna do that same thing. You remember the weird Mighty Ducks TV show where they're like, but we're not hockey players.
We're ducks.
We have a rocket ship and we fight crime. And you're like, cool. I'm into it.
Was there ever a cartoon that you watched that you found or discovered later on that it was really old?
Scooby-Doo.
Oh, that's pretty old, yeah.
I used to do that a lot as a kid, though, because I remember begging my mom to take me to see E.T., the movie. Like, I thought you could go see it in theaters. And I remember it got to the point where I was talking about wanting to see E.T. so much that my preschool teacher lent me a VHS tape of E.T. And so I watch it. And so then I'm like, okay, it's not in theaters, it's out of theaters. I don't know where I got the idea. I genuinely had no idea that E.T. wasn't made in the 80s. I really thought that it was new. Scooby-Doo's another one. I thought that one was like relatively new. There's my cat's paw. But my mom was like, oh, I used to love the show as a kid. And I was like, you used to love the show as a kid? What? So those are probably the two.
That is something we do like to forget, is the acceleration of media like that, because it took, the Hanna-Barbera cartoons reigned supreme for a very, very long time, and that's what my mom grew up watching, and I loved those shows as well. And then now, like, it's been so like quickly, I see in the chat Brian with the beard is mentioned Angry Beavers.
Yeah.
Which, when the superhero Muscular Beaver came out, I feel like they were trying to say something else. But yeah, it's I don't know. Fandom space is just wild. I fully maintain that there were no furries before Space Jam came out.
That was the genesis.
Lola Bunny was the was the blueprint.
She was
all
the
I'm saying.
blueprint. Oh,
Very
man.
much so. Young says in the chat, this one's a tad newer. Does anybody remember Adventures of Flapjack? No.
I think was that
was
Cartoon
beyond my
Network
time.
one?
That was
I
beyond
think
my
I
time.
do. Let me look at this. Let me look this up.
Is that the one where there was a character who would just go rada, 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 rada?
Yes, I do remember the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack.
Okay, my wife is into that show.
I'd mildly forgotten about it. I don't think I watched it too religiously.
But as someone, I also remember watching the first episode of SpongeBob that they aired at the end of the Kids' Choice Awards. And then the following year, maybe 2 years later, they aired the first episode of oh my goodness. It's gonna kill me if I don't think of this. Oh my goodness. The extreme sports show. Skateboarding, snowboarding.
Oh, Rocket Power.
Rocket Power.
Yeah.
As a skateboarder and a wakeboarder and a snowboarder, that was my jam. That was my entire life. Was Rocket Power. And me and my sister still quote it. Yeah.
I love that.
Someone who didn't have cable as a kid, Arthur. We all love Arthur.
Yeah.
And also, along with Arthur, hey, it's Franklin.
Real
Come
monsters.
into your house.
I remember Franklin.
I love
that.
Real
Unlocked
Monsters.
something for me.
Yep. Hey, Arnold, Doug, all the classics. I couldn't sleep, so hello. Hello, Silverglass. Thanks for joining us. Rocco's Modern Life is another one, yes.
Yeah.
There's so much.
I learned qui a couper du fromage from Freakazoid.
Something about cheese?
If you remember Freakazoid. Also, in that era, Tom Kenny reigned supreme. Do you realize how big Tom Kenny was as a voice actor in the heyday?
He's probably in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me pull this up. But did you watch Cat Dog? He was Dog.
Yeah.
He's SpongeBob. He was Heifer in Rocko's Modern Life.
I don't think I realized he was all that. I think I only knew SpongeBob.
Tom Kenny was one of the main characters in everything you've ever seen growing up.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Invader Zim,
But-
Dragon Tales, Liberty Kids, Dexter's Laboratory, Inspector Gadget. All classics.
Yeah. James Bond Jr. If you know, you know.
Jackie Chan.
Oh, that was a good answer. But this is not a 90s cartoon, early 2000s cartoon show. We are here to talk Star Wars and talk Andor because they keep bringing out banger after banger of episodes. And I think of this. There's this Japanese show where two people will bite on a rubber band, and then they take turns stepping back, and it stretches. And this person steps back, and it stretches, and you know it's gonna break. It's gonna hit someone. Next person steps back, and that's what the show's doing. Every episode, you're like, this rubber band is painfully stretching, and you know it's gonna, and it just never, it hasn't come. So, Young, yes. I watch weird Japanese shows. You know, you ever see the one where like you sit on a toilet and then all of a sudden the door opens and it pulls you out on a lake and you're on a jet ski? Yeah.
Was that
like
Batsu game?
happens. I believe it was. Silent Library is also a favorite of mine.
Yeah, those are all Batsu game punishments.
Yeah.
I like the one. My favorite Batsu game. If you're, you should look this up, Ali, whenever you have the time. But my favorite Batsu game is when they are forced to live. They are forced to go through a night in a house where their entire night is narrated by a commentator, and they have to do everything they narrate.
Oh wow!
They cannot react to any external forces. So when the narrator's like, I should probably go check on the newspaper in the front door, the guy has to do that. The guy will open the front door, pick up the newspaper, and there's like 6 dudes that just rush in and throw pies at his face. He can't react because this is all just part of everything. And then he has to go with just covered in cake and pie, goes back and opens the newspaper and starts reading it. This is his life. It's funny.
I love that.
Batsu games are there was one round of Quiet Library, and the name of the round was Old Man Tenderly Bites Ear.
Oh God, I remember that.
That's it. Old man, no teeth. It's gonna bite your ear. and that's the game. I don't even understand. Yeah. Legends of the Hidden Temple. Yes. You know, there's a Star Wars version of Legends of the Hidden Temple that has recently come out, and it is hosted by none other than Jar Jar Binks himself. It's not Jar Jar Binks, sorry. It's Jedi Master Kelleran Beck.
Yes.
But I love that they brought the actor back and have been showing him so much love.
Me
I think
too.
it's really cool.
I low-key was hoping he'd be in Kenobi.
I need him in more things.
I think we need to apologize to him, like as a group of people, in something. Like he deserves a little recognition.
I cried when they brought him on stage during Celebration Chicago.
Yeah,
because that's the first time he's been back after all of this crap. But I doubt it's true. But I have this like fever dream. I wish that like 20 years from now we find out that he's actually been a cameo of all these weird and cool characters throughout all of Star Wars.
What if he's actually Claude? Like,
if he was Claude, I would lose my crap. If he was Vet, I want him to be Vetch. That's who I want him to be.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, that would make my day.
Oh, Nitra said she's running late. So if she can make it, she can make it. I mean, yes, I remember Takeshi's Castle, also known as MXC on MTV, but Choco's right. We do have an episode of Andor to talk about. There was a. Now let's call an audible here. Allison, do you want to talk about the sequels a little bit? Because that was
sure. I'm never gonna say no to that. You know, I'm a sequels girl through and through.
Because we did have planned a segment for sequel appreciation. We don't need to be kind of long-winded about it. We've all seen the sequels. Yes. But I would like to give you the soapbox or kind of like the pedestal in the center of the room to kind of talk about your appreciation of the sequels. What do you think? What do you think the sequels did for Star Wars?
Well, I think kind of like we just talked about, like the sequels introduced Star Wars back to an entirely new generation. And I think that kids were going to these movies. Like I remember my nephew was pretty young when these were coming out, and he like went to go see all of them, and it was his first and also my first Star Wars theater experience, because while I was technically old enough to have seen the prequels in theaters, I mean 1999 when The Phantom Menace came out, I would have been 92, or no, it came out in 2000, didn't it? Or 1999?
No, it's 99.
Something.
It was 99.
Okay. Either way, I would have been 2 years old, 3 years old. I wouldn't have been able to fully appreciate all the movies. And then by the time Revenge of the Sith came out, I was maybe 7 or 8. And I hadn't seen Star Wars yet. So I just kind of missed that whole wave. And so for me, this really was kind of my first wave of like, I'm excited for the next movie. I'm hypothesizing about what's going to happen. My first experience really with the fandom as it was actively going down. And I think that that was huge. And on top of that, I think that they obviously created a legacy for young girls as well as being, you know, like the first time we get to see in live action, at least, really, a young woman be the character, the center of the show, like the main character, Jedi. So that was obviously huge. And I don't think that, you know, as many people realize that as it, because now it seems like normal-ish. You know, there's still the mild haters, but I remember when the Force Awakens trailer dropped, it was like, you know, all of the most toxic people you knew were mad that there was a woman and a black man and they were going to be the main characters. Like, that was just so upsetting to people. But, you know, the terrible people, that is. But I also think that it was sort of really needed for Star
Ven
Wars.
_Skywalker joined Squadron 7.
Ooh.
Hey, thank you for joining.
So I think those are like the major cultural things that it did. As far as for the Skywalker saga, I feel like it gave the main trilogy characters a legacy, right? Like, they can live on, and it's not like they just are gone to the wayside as legends, you know, like maybe would have happened if they wouldn't have been made. So I really think that they are important and they're necessary parts of the Skywalker saga, even if there are some flaws and even if the story isn't like the most airtight thing in the world. I think that the story is great and it's meaningful and it's needed.
Also, I feel like it's necessary to say this. The story is a lot closer to airtight than a lot of people say.
Yes.
A lot. I hear a lot of stuff that's just flat out wrong or didn't happen. Even if I don't even enjoy it, like, this is what happened. Like, I don't, like, I'm not dumb. I don't know. It's. I'm not trying to call them dumb, but some of them are kind of dumb. That being said, what, if anything, do you wish you could communicate to people who, like you said, for a lot of people, this was their coming into Star Wars. This is where they started. This is their starting point. There's other people that hated on it because it didn't go where they thought it was going to go, where they thought it should go, whatever.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wish you can communicate to those people?
Yeah, of course. And I think that my biggest thing with all of Star Wars, really, especially in this era where we're making so much Star Wars, is if you go into it with these expectations as to what is going to happen or what you think should happen or what the YouTubers and the TikTokers have all been hypothesizing or the Redditors have been leaking, like, cast all that aside and just try to enjoy the film for what it is. Because I think if you do that, then, like, you can enjoy not only Star Wars, but just everything a lot more. As well as just, like, get to the heart of the story. Like, Rey as a character, people say they dislike her or hate her because of, like, the amount that she trained or that she's OP or whatever. Like, you know, you've all heard the arguments. And it's kind of like, is that a valid reason to hate a character? Is it really? What is the point of Rey as a character? It's not that at all.
Rey's I hate James Bond. He's so OP.
Yeah. I mean, I hate Anakin Skywalker If you hate Rey for being OP, you gotta hate Anakin Skywalker for being OP. Those are the rules.
If you hate Rey for being OP, you gotta hate every single shonen in anime that has ever had.
You can't watch anime.
Power not thrust upon them, power baked into them.
Yeah.
Because it is something that they discover at the moment of their most vulnerability. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I just realized I have a final form. So it's like all kind of like, all anime does that.
It's so weird to be like, oh yeah, I think Anakin could have beat Yoda and Mace Windu and all these people. And you're like, huh. Yoda's 900 years old. He's been training a long time. Yeah, like, I don't want to get on my soapbox about that, but like, if you can acknowledge, the weirdest one for me was people saying, the thought of Ahsoka beating Luke was like abhorrent, and you're like, bro trained his failing at like 22, and the next year beat Darth Vader. That should tell you something, that these power levels are not what you think they are. It's not what they think they should be.
No, and I think that that's again back to just like, what is the story trying to tell you? Is it trying to tell you that Rey is OP and she's, you know, blah, blah, blah? No, it's trying to tell you that like she's very strong in the Force outside of her natural ability, and that there's going to be some mystery surrounding that as to why that is. And that, you know, that's been the case for literally all of the main characters of Star Wars.
Yes. We still don't know. You know, we'll never know Anakin's origin.
I was gonna say, you nailed it right on the head, where this one person does something that is, some believe it to be outside of their scale. And depending on the character, if Luke does it, if Luke just started training, failed, lost badly, next movie does it within a year, it's because he's so powerful. It's because he learned so much, even without any explanation. And then other characters, if you don't like them, they could never do this. No, they did it. And your job is to figure out how they did it, and what and that why. Means.
Yeah. And I think people, again, they're like, well, no, that shouldn't be able to happen, or I don't want that to happen. Well, it did. You know, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like that Palpatine returned. I know plenty of people who don't like it, but he did. So, like, let's just think about why, and let's ask, like, understand why, and why it matters to the whole story, versus just saying, like, Palpatine can't come back, or like, Palpatine, he shouldn't be able to come back, because like that point is moot. Like, he's back.
Yeah, like, especially it especially
and if you
irks
like
me
Legends, it happened.
Yeah,
you can't like Legends and not accept that it happened in Legends, because that actually plays a very, very large part throughout all of Luke's story in the expanded universe. But truthfully, they've never read the expanded universe.
Exactly. You know, and I'm in a unique position of actually just being like, well, actually, narratively, it makes sense that he comes back. What I didn't like was the execution, the Fortnite message, all of that stuff. I feel like they could have done better with the execution, but him coming back is very, very much narratively sensible.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the execution was kind of like, could have used a little bit more nuts and bolts, but overall, I think I really like that it happened, and I'm glad that it happened, and it makes sense.
I know it would have been too overt, but in the TFA novelization, they actually have his voice, and I feel like, I don't know, would it have been better if in The Force Awakens he's like, kill him, and then you heard Palpatine, or would that have been too overt where people are like, oh no, they just spoiled the rest of the story? I don't know. But I feel like some people could benefit from having some cookies laid at their lap like that.
Yeah, because it did seem a little sudden to introduce it at the end, I suppose. But I mean, we like Palpatine was always just kind of like the big menacing villain who like reaps his terror in the last movie.
The Phantom.
I still maintain that for myself. It wasn't a surprise, but that's a whole separate topic. I think that sorry, this is gonna be random, but I saw Johnsky ask, "How's my Bleach rewatch going?" It's going great. I am starting to finish the Arrancar arc, and I am enjoying it a lot more. And I plan to try and watch all of the big three. So we'll see how it goes. Naruto was in the bag, done years ago. Bleach currently. I tried watching One Piece before, but I'm going to try it again after Bleach, and we'll see if I'm capable of getting through it myself. Allison, do you have any love for the big three? And if there is an anime that you're into currently, what is it? And please tell me it's Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay. Jujutsu Kaisen, I just finished that a few months ago. I love Jujutsu Kaisen. I loved it. I did. What am I currently watching? I wasn't going to finish, and might get hate to the channel, but I wasn't going to finish Demon Slayer season 2. Because I watched the first season, I watched the train arc. And I wasn't like the biggest fan. It seemed a little too predictable,
derivative. Yeah.
Yes, and the characters
art
were
was
so
beautiful,
archetypical.
But
Yeah.
what happened was very derivative.
Yeah, and so I was just kind of like, okay, season 2, I don't know. But then my nephew was telling me he was a big Demon Slayer fan. He was like, you have to finish it. So I'm watching that currently, slowly. I'm only a couple episodes in, but I'm finishing that up. I need to get caught up on My Hero Academia. It got a little crazy, a little in the weeds towards like the end of season 4 or 5 or whatever, where I left off. But it's pretty good. As I said, Attack on Titan, my favorite anime of all time.
Okay. So, quick question. Because the maker of Attack on Titan is the same maker as Death Note. Did you watch Death Note?
I've watched Death Note, and I didn't really like it that much.
All right, fair enough.
I really was loving it. I was absolutely enthralled with it.
Sorry, first season. Second season is a different story. It's okay. Yeah. You can divorce the two separately.
Okay, I can divorce the two. Yeah. Then like first season of Death Note, I couldn't put it down. Second season, it was like. All right. I respect that. After the one thing happens. I don't want to spoil
that one thing. Yeah. Gotcha.
I was like, why are we even making this show at this point? I don't like it anymore. So
I went to
from
get
my
a few
perspective,
things.
that is the correct answer.
Thank you.
Okay. Following up with that, have you watched the first episode of Chainsaw Man?
I haven't. I've heard it's good.
All right.
It's fantastic.
And I've only seen the first episode, but one of my favorite people and close friend of the channel, Victoria Vader, that's their favorite thing ever, and has reread the manga 6 times at this point. So I
Victoria's
will be.
favorite is Soul Eater.
Well, I know they have reread it over and over again, and then maybe Soul Eater's their favorite anime, but I think Chainsaw Man is their favorite character.
Oh, probably.
So yeah, gonna highly recommend jumping into that myself. And
okay.
And I want us to be anime friends, you know?
Yes.
Johnsky says, I will not tolerate Death Note slander, especially against the second half. You will, if you're going to be watching this podcast. Anyway,
We've already done it.
If your favorite character is L, certain things happen, and Anyways,
when you said that you've seen Jujutsu Kaisen, I was wondering if I should give any of this away.
Oh, I think so. I love that one particularly. Jujutsu Kaisen, really popped off, 6 6 or so months ago, and I'm very wary about when people recommend like the most popular anime, or like there's like an anime that just blows up and becomes the most popular, because sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's like really not the best. So Jujutsu Kaisen, I was kind of like, it's not going to be my thing. I think Jujutsu Kaisen took the potential that Demon Slayer has
Agreed.
and amplified it. I think it's better. And that's an unpopular opinion, but I stand by
Neither one of those are initial D, but that's just
They're separate, entirely separate stories, or different.
Yeah.
St. Pat says, I must ask Allie, Separatists or Republic?
It's a tough question, because if you say Republic, it's like, okay, the Republic turns into the Empire. So is that really what you like? Or Separatist?
Sound like a separatist.
I'll say this. I sympathize with both. I sympathize that Separatists, as someone from the South myself, Separatists, it feels like more Southern people who feel very excluded from a lot of the decision making that occurs that seems to affect their lives. And that can feel like the powers that be maybe don't view you as important of taking care of. And as we saw in like Tales of the Jedi, like those people, you know, are living really miserable lives. I can't fault them for thinking that they would be better off as independent systems. I can't. But I also understand that in order to stop things like slavery and like child labor, and to have laws of like ethical consumption and things like that, you kind of need to be a little bit more united. So I want to say Republic for sure, but not to the point of the Empire.
I only have one final question.
Okay.
For myself, it sounds like you have one as well, Pep.
Hmm?
All right, I'll go one. And I'll start it with an inside joke. As a Southerner, how do you feel about Mace Windu?
How do I feel about Mace Windu? He's kind of like this authoritarian figure. And so part of you wants to feel like you really respect him and you really like him. And then another part of you wants to feel like mad at him for being like overbearing, rule following, all those types of things. I like Mace. I think that Mace was not necessarily, I don't think that he's the pinnacle of the downfall of the Jedi like people like to think. I think there were probably generations of people that came before Mace Windu who made the decisions and set up the foundation for the Jedi Order that Mace Windu inherits. And so he's sort of a byproduct of that system. I also think he has his faults, but I think overall he's kind of a badass, and I do like him quite a bit.
Okay,
that's fair.
I know he's your favorite, so I don't mean.
I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but I do defend against the misinformation and the misrepresentation.
Mm-hmm.
There's that person was like, he stopped Dooku from becoming a master, and you're like, Dooku was already a master. They were both masters. He got promoted to
again, and that's like that's
before him, and had nothing to do with him. He didn't promote himself. He can't.
No, and that's the thing is, it's like Mace is again the product of a system. They rewarded him for being a rule follower. It's not his fault for prescribing to a system that rewarded that type of behavior necessarily. And I think
no one that treated Jar Jar Binks with more respect,
right,
than Mace Windu. He
absolutely
treated everyone with respect, unless you stepped to him. And then he's like, "You got hands? You want the
Yeah,
smoke?"
like I said,
I'll
that's
give
the
you the smoke.
Rotarian
If you want
figure.
the smoke. I'll give the smoke. That's my
Very much. You know, I think that if, you know, Samuel Jackson could have broken character, instead of like take a seat, it would have been like sit your ass down. That would have been the line, you know. That's the kind of vibe that Mace Windu gives. Is that like I'm the final word, but he can do that because he's Mace Windu, you know. So.
And just a quick editorial, for a lot of people to understand that Anakin was never in the running of being a master. That was never in the running at all. Normally, you are a master for a period of time before you get elected to the council. They only elect masters to the council. So when Palpatine said, "I want to have my own personal representation on the council," which, if you don't think the Jedi should be involved in politics, you should be against that altogether. That's why Anakin thought he would be made a power, because it's never happened before. Anyways, that's all.
Really important question, Nelly. Southern
Okay.
gang or underscore gang?
Southern gang or underscore gang?
I don't
I'm
know
not
what that
sure.
means.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm following.
Which one do you rep?
Pick.
Oh, pick.
I mean, you got a lot of them.
With the information you have on hand at this moment, pick.
I guess I'll pick Southern
Forever.
gang. I'll pick Southern gang.
Oh,
Oh no!
No, it's
Yeah.
it is fair.
we rep
I
hard.
rep both gangs because I have a lot of Alabama family. So
Okay,
We rep
I
hard the
see.
underscore gang. I mean, you have a lot of underscores in your name.
I do. But I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm not quite as deep south as Alabama, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, depending on who you ask.
Still, South still got you.
no,
Um,
it's all good. It's all good. And you know, additionally, we work hoping, you know, we might get a join in from Nidra at this point, but probably not the case. Let's jump into Andor. And
I hate to do this,
And-
but
and your
before we
thoughts?
jump into Andor, I just got a hot
Okay.
take to say to St. Pat. And I'll switch the titles just so you guys know we're on Andor. Is it episode 9 or episode 8? I think it's episode 8. 9.
I think it's 9.
it's 9.
I'm gonna use the restroom real quick while you do this before we talk Andor.
Okay.
I tried to hold it, but it's not happening.
So, St. Pat, I would argue that the Separatists and the CIS are a whole bunch of contrivances. Because they only exist on the premise that Palpatine creates. The issue of taxation in the trade routes that Palpatine creates, and he is the guy behind the curtain that is exacerbating their grievances and making them form the CIS because of those grievances. So essentially, Palpatine creates the CIS and the Separatists themselves, or himself. Meaning there was no two sides to begin with. There was no Republic.
Yeah.
There was no Republic, and then the Separatists came in and threatened the Republic. There was the Republic, and then based on the taxation of trade routes and the disagreements within the Senate, they separated. They separated into the CIS.
So
And
I'm just laughing at Nedrix's comment. But he speaks the truth. I would say yes. The people in the separatist movement did have very, very valid reasons to feel the way that they did. But sorry, not Palpatine. Not Palpatine. Sidious was the leader of the separatists.
Yep.
Darth Sidious was the leader of the separatists. And if you are rotten at that point in time, at that level, it's rotten throughout. But they had very, very valid reasons to be concerned about
Oh, absolutely.
the corruption and all this stuff.
All
this stuff has very real parallels to today and what's happening right now, and none of that is more apparent than in the project Andor.
Yeah. I'm just saying to St. Pat, I don't think that there was a separatist or republic concept. It was the separatists came from the republic because of what Sidious was doing to make them hear me out.
He took advantage of an issue that already was there and pulled out a wedge, put it in there, and made it much bigger, and fueled it. Yeah. There was a small fire burning.
But who was the leader of the CIS?
As there is in all governments.
But who was the leader of the CIS?
And Palpatine threw gasoline on it.
Who was the leader of the CIS?
Other than your mom?
Dooku. And who was pulling Dooku's strings? Sidious. So while the systems that were part of the Republic had grievances and valid reasons to be aggrieved by the new policies that the Senate had put in, it was Sidious puppeteering or marionetting Dooku to make a separatist council out of those systems. Yes. That created the separation.
And while I was just now being humorous, in Master and Apprentice, we find out what was coming across Senator Palpatine's desk and what he was goading the Neimoidians to do. Mm-hmm. And so we can fully grasp from canon material that the initial rift that did separate the two was intentionally caused by Sidious. The whole thing was caused by Sidious. Darth Sidious, and this is something I always like to say, Darth Sidious was in full control of the entire Republic before the Phantom Menace started. Yep. Years before it started.
Cal, looks like Cal's back. You watched the episode. Listen, we try to control the length of Dyad, but if the conversation is good, it's freaking good. And much respect to Ali for that. We're having a blast, and of course, yes, mad respect for the TLJ shirt.
TLJ shirt. I found this at Goodwill for like a couple dollars.
Who in the hell?
Who would give this away? The only problem is that on the back, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fully show, it has the name of all the movies, except for this hat. This shirt had to have been made before The Rise of Skywalker came out, because it just ends at The Last Jedi. So it's like...
For some of us, it does end with... I'm just kidding. No, I'm just trolling.
So that is my only gripe, is that it's just like every movie and then like TLJ, and that's it. But yeah. I love this shirt so much.
No. I'm just trolling. I'm not one of those people who are like, "Oh, it's not canon."
That's not canon. Yeah.
I find it fun to analyze the ideology within the context of the pressures, especially since it's presented as black and white. I mean, that's true. I mean, of course, as we kept on saying, their grievances were very valid. It's just, would those grievances have been exacerbated to the point of separation from the Republic? Remains to be seen without the added pressures from Sidious. But let's move on to Andor episode 9. If you have one final thought.
Final thought, which is okay for me because I've been trying to transition. But my final thought is that no, we wouldn't have gotten to this point without Palpatine intentionally throwing gasoline on this fire. He took it to his advantage. Without him accelerating things, we wouldn't have gotten that far for another 30 years. and that would be enough for people to realize what problems are and try to like catch up and do things. I mean, we'll never know, but it would have taken much longer for certain things to occur had it not been directly controlled by someone.
Yeah. And so we move on to Andor episode 9. I just realized that I'm wearing the actual shirt that's like supposed to be a troll of those trolls.
Yeah,
That's not canon.
We're both living our full character. Like I'm the TLJ fan. You're the That's Not Canon fan.
But episode 9 of Andor sees, an extended look at Andor's time in Narkina, where things are actually going well for them. They've worked out their kinks on the assembly line, and they're even with Olaf, or even with Olaf being Brooks from Shawshank Redemption, they're working things out. But behind the scenes, things are going down on level 2, and this is gonna cause a huge fuss in the prison, and we find out what Choco is doing.
Don't worry about me.
You're standing. I see that.
He's converting to standing mode.
We wouldn't have noticed if you didn't just like smile as if you were up to something. It's like the face you have when you're like sneaking a cookie from the cookie jar. You're trying to be incognito.
Poker, which is why I don't play poker.
So they find out that they are recycling prisoners. No one is getting out. And this, of course, causes... what's his face? What's this Andy Serkis's character's name?
I don't know. I just call him Andy Serkis. I'm not even going to lie. And that's when Andy Serkis said this.
Kino Loy.
Okay. So, now we're on the brink of a prison break. Lino. Okay. Something
Yeah.
What were some of the highlights of this episode for you, Allie?
I mean, definitely the realization that they're never getting out. I think we always knew that. At least from our standpoint, like they'll keep you here as long as they want to keep you here. They'll find a reason. I think by far, maybe not by far, but my favorite thing was probably Loy being sort of reluctant at first. He's like, I only have a couple hundred shifts left. Like, I'm going to keep my nose down, not entertain Cassian and his, sort of conspiracy to break out. Not going to do it. But then the moment that we say Olaf die, and the moment that the doctor sort of tells them, like, you're never getting out of here. Like, there's never more than 12 guards. Like, it's an immediate change of heart. And I think that was really powerful for me.
What's powerful about that statement too is that it's very telling that there's never more than 12. Mm-hmm. Because one, he is actively volunteering now to be part of the movement to break out or whatever. Two, he is realizing to himself what that actually meant. Mm-hmm. Is that they recycle prisoners, and there's never like more of a population of prisoners to kind of demand or warrant for more than 12 guards.
Yeah.
So,
and I also think it's telling that he at one point counted. It showed to me that he's probably thought about it before, but wanted to sort of climb the ranks and, play their game in hopes of getting out versus breaking out, before.
I love that take, because he looks at Andor and he says, you need to turn that part of your brain off. Mm-hmm. and which means at some point in time that was on in his brain, he's thought of this before. Man, no, that's beautiful, because him saying that and there only being 12 just highlights that title. Nobody's listening. They don't care. They don't think we're a threat. No one thinks we're a threat. They think they're have so much power that nothing can topple them, and that's what they're going to use. And I love that as a theme throughout the entire episode.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every single prisoner that shows any kind of uppitance or whatever it's called, a chance of rebelling or whatever, they just recycle out. They like, I think what they said was the entire level was shocked or electrocuted, and then they recycled the people who were supposed to be released back in. And so, yeah, you never need more than 12 guards to take care of a prisoner that, you know, just disappears the people that are unruly and recycles the people who are meant to be released. And as Kenny says, it just shows how thorough he is at his job. Key player energy. Which is fascinating, because I heard the go ahead.
I was like, his job, Andy Serkis's job is to be a prisoner. So I hated him in the last episode, because I was like, this is a prisoner who is now gained his own power, and it went to his head, and he's now policing other prisoners, whether or not they deserve to be here, knowing that half the people, everyone else in here, their sentences doubled overnight, which is completely unjust. And you're going to act as police for these people, for their sentences.
Yeah.
So yes, he did a good job managing these people, and, you know, trying to get them to produce. And we've been thinking, you know, these are probably parts for the Death Star. Part of me wants to hear that they assemble these things, and it goes up to the next floor, and they disassemble that thing, and it's the same thing that they're doing over and over again. Part of me wants that to be the answer, because they don't care about these people. They just want them out of the way, or they just want bodies or whatnot. But again, this isn't a job. This isn't a prison. This is a camp. This is slavery. This is exactly what's promised by the 13th Amendment. But whatever.
This is America.
That's a whole different. Another topic.
Yeah. And I think that, like I said, I don't remember if I said it on here or if I said it some other place. I say so many things, I forget where they happen at. But I literally said the last episode somewhere that Andy Serkis's character, I was like, he's literally living out like the Stanford Prison Project. Like, he thinks that he's above these people because he's like the manager or whatever. So now he's policing the prisoners as a prisoner. And
a little bit of power in his life.
Yeah, and it's so toxic. And now that I think he's realized that power is meaningless and it's not going to do him any good, he's sort of turned himself around, hopefully. So I thought that was really good.
Yeah. I've always thought that they were just useless parts and then melted down. You know what? I think that there has to be some element of like profiteering here, in some way, shape, or form. I do think that they are building things for, you know, zero labor cost. Obi-Shan says, plot twist, Kino is Palpatine's Snoke Strandcast. Could be.
You're not exactly
there,
wrong.
But Andy Serkis did come out and say, no, the two characters are not related.
They're not related. But Strandcast being an amalgamation
of
of parts,
to be related. I will defend that position.
I don't think they're related if they got the part for Snoke the head and the throat and the voice from Kino Loy, and then the body
That
from
is
something
a
else.
relation.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I just think it's repurposed parts.
I like that the Snoke theories are back, though. Throwback moment.
Yeah.
I miss those days. So much simpler.
Simpler.
What else happened in this
The
episode?
sea-based window is.
Mon Mothma's stuff in this episode was also really good.
Yeah. Vel's her cousin.
I know. That was like, for me, I was like, that's the first time in like a while, I think, that I've watched something Star Wars and actually like had a reveal like that kind of out of nowhere. Like I wouldn't have thought of that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they talk about her cousin and I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like her cousin's probably, who knows, like
Satine.
didn't even consider that it would be someone relevant. But maybe I'm just not as smart and other people caught it right immediately. I don't know.
Young in the chat says it was nice to see that Mon had an ally,
Mhm.
and she had a genuine smile at a lot of points throughout the dinner, especially when her douchebag was like, "Oh, did you find a husband on your trip?" And then like they look at each other like,
And they're like, LOL.
idiot. But I love after that, because after they say goodbye, then we threw out them together. They shared they exchange glances. They talk to each other about their missions, even though they're not on the same missions, even though they don't know exactly what each other is doing. They're on the same side. They know it. They respect each other. They love each other. And then at the end, we get the scene where Vel leaves. And it's just Mon Mothma standing in the middle of their big, beautiful, opulent house that's just empty and cold and devoid of love. And the camera just kind of zooms out on her just standing there alone again. And I gotta ask Nidra, how did you feel about Mon Mothma in episode 9 of it? And also, where can we find you in your beautiful content?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's always an issue. Yeah, Nidra loves cosplay everywhere except for where I'm Nidra Loves Jedi. Nidra Loves Jedi on Twitter because of the character restraints. And Mon Mothma in this episode, to me, she's put in a really weird place, I think, because she needs things, and she's like, I don't even know if I can actually consider I'm sorry, I'm hearing music going crazy in my ears, and I'm like ADHD and I can't focus.
I can stop it if you want.
No, sorry, it's just the music is louder than anything else in the world right now. Mon Mothma in this episode with her cousin Vel, which is our bestie, like is walking it back. I don't know if I actually believe they're cousins, is my first like jumping off point. Like the cousin thing seems like it might be a cover for something else.
Well, her husband is already familiar with her in the context, so
yeah, as her cousin. Like I'm saying, like I feel like that's the kind of thing that could, like, they could have been friends when they were young, and that could have been something, I don't know, and maybe I might just be reaching there, but like it seems like the cousin thing might be a little convenient, considering both of their roles in the rebellion. Also, her situation with the need for money and whoever the person is she's meeting with. Do you guys know the name that they dropped as the like person who's the benefactor or whatever?
I've forgotten the name of the crime boss, but it is not someone
Davo
I've ever
something,
heard of
right?
before. It was Davo, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be relevant really soon. And
But how about the fact that people who are taking part, every person that's been part of this I guess, rebellion so far. And part of Mon Mothma's problem with Luthen is the lengths that he was willing to go, but Mon Mothma has now hit a bottleneck, and she's going to have to get her hands dirty in order to proceed.
I think that's sort of like, I almost want to say that's the theme of this entire series, right? Rebellions are not neat. They're not tidy. If you actually want to exact like real change, it's not going to be entirely. Try to not get on a watch list here. Like,
I get what you said, because we started out by seeing her give an impassioned speech, and just like the title of the episode, nobody was listening.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a great point. Yeah, no. So like, she tried to work through the system and do things by the numbers, by the way that things are supposed to go, and she wasn't getting anywhere. And you can just sort of see a desperation, and I think that's sort of the theme for everyone at the end of the episode, where everyone's sort of in a position where they're kind of desperate at the end. She has to accept that Davo is gonna have to help her out, and then never more than 12, and Biggs gave up information that she, ideally wouldn't have. Like, everyone's just sort of in this really dire position by the end of the episode. And I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I love that. And how about you, Ali? Because on that super awkward dinner conversation with Mon and
Find yourself a husband yet?
Just like Young says, he's not even worth his name.
Yeah.
That's what I call him.
He's so irrelevant. We don't even remember his name. It's fine. I think that it's just kind of like that's his character. And it's like he's catching on to the fact that Mon and her friend that's helping her, I can't remember his name.
Claire.
Tay.
Oh,
yeah.
Who?
What?
Tay.
Tay,
right.
I said Teddy. I was like, well, that's not quite right. I don't think Tay. Yeah.
You said I said Tay, and you're like, who? And I was like, Tay Zonday. No, that's not it.
Yeah, no.
Brain. No.
So I feel like he's kind of thinking that like they're flirting, when in reality, I think that I loved the parallel of Mon and Cassian, that they're like doing these things in plain sight. They're not trying to make what they're doing super secretive, because when you make things super secretive and you make it seem like, a secret, it becomes a lot more eyebrow raise worthy, versus like no one will suspect what you're doing if you do it out loud. They don't think you're important enough to even listen to. Obviously, like the Senate doesn't even think that Mon Mothma is like worthy of their lights being on in their pods. So when you start this like rebellion, both inside a prison and in the Senate, in plain sight, people are going to think that they're catching on to things, when in reality, it's not that at all. And I think that Mon Mothma's husband, her douchebag, if you will, he thinks that there's something romantic going on there, and he's sort of trying to turn like their daughter against her and get everyone involved, and it's kind of uncomfortable because you're like, that's not what's happening. But I think Mon Mothma might have to just go along with her husband might just think that, and that's probably safer for her husband to think than what's actually going on. So there was a double-edged sword there, unfortunately, like a lot of things she does.
I'd love to ask a lightning round question really quick. So everyone, just a really quick, 30-second response or less. In this, we see Vel repeat the words that Cinta said to her in the last episode. The Empire never sleeps. It's like what was, I can't remember the exact quote now, but it was like, we give the rebellion everything, and everyone else whatever's left.
Mhm.
Is that how they should look at it? Is that important? What does that mean to you? Lightning round. Let's go to Nidra first.
I think it was the rebellion gets everything. We take what's left, or something like that. And
Something
I
like
think that's so profound, because by
The
the end
rebellion
of
comes
Rogue One,
first. That's what it was.
there you go. The rebellion comes first. We take what's left. By the end of Rogue One, there's nothing left. So that's like a really fascinating kind of way to consider that, where it's basically the rebels are giving everything, and there's no half measures in this at this point. And I'm excited and terrified to see what's going to happen in the next few episodes. It's a big. I know who's not in Rogue One, and it's sort of. There's a season 2 coming, so there's that too. So that's good. I'm really excited to see how they do the jailbreak, if that's going to happen, how that's going to happen. But yeah, rebellion comes first. We take what's left. By the end of it all, there's nothing left. So in Rogue One, Cassian actually says, "I have nothing." So.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's interesting.
All right. So on to Allison. The Empire never sleeps. The rebellion comes first. We take what's left, and it also, because of what Nature said at the very end, I'm going to tack on a little extra.
Oh.
The name of the episode is Nobody's Listening. At the end of Rogue One, Cassian said, or at the end of Rogue One, Jen said, "Do you think anyone's listening?"
Oh. Why'd you just say
Cassian
that?
says it. Cassian says that. And
Cassian
she
says it?
says,
Okay.
yeah. He says, "Do you think anybody's listening?" And she says, "Of course," or something like that. And it's really cute.
And to me, that's the definition of hope. Doing
Yeah.
whatever you need to do, regardless of if you know anyone's watching or not. But I offer those things to you.
Okay, I think that in a perfect world, could you stand up for what's right and still have, like, you know, your personal life? Like, Vel doesn't get to be with Cinta and right now, and Mon Mothma, like, her daughter is kind of drifting away from her, husband's drifting away from her. Cassian's in prison. He can't go see his mom or anybody. I think that in a perfect world, sure, you could fight for the right thing and still have your own life. However, I think everyone at this point is so desperate, and they're in such a tight spot that it's not, you have to give all or nothing. And I think they're finally reaching that understanding that, like, the time between you having a normal life and the time where this is all you do is dwindling very quickly. So I think, unfortunately, that's the position they're at now. And I love the parallel of, is anyone listening? Because I think you're exactly right. That is the definition of hope, is that someone's listening. I think it's very profound.
Oof. Some great answers from our great guests. Nidra, after I address the chat really quickly, I do want your thoughts on the prison stuff, because that was what we first covered, and I would like your take on that as well. But Nedrex asked, how old would Lita be, and could she have been named after Leia? I did a Tarkin. Leia's 14 right now. Lita looks like she could be 15, 16. So I don't know. I don't think there's any connection there. It's just a great combination of letters to have in a name.
Mm-hmm.
It could very well be Delilah in another world.
I'm just hoping it's not Greek mythology, because Lita in Greek mythology Zeus comes down and turns into a swan and is like, she's hot, and then like bangs a woman as a swan.
I love that. Hopefully that's not how this story goes. But...
Zeus was hella weird. That's all I can say.
Right on. Okay, I need your
Prison. Yeah, the prison stuff.
never more than 12.
Never more than 12. First and foremost,
I'm sorry.
I knew. First and foremost, I knew when we got barefaced Andy Serkis that we were all doomed to just absolute torture. That man, oh my God, could write an entire dissertation just about his performance over the course of all his episodes. But just this one episode, he did this like brilliant transition from like authority figure who just seemingly knew everything, you know, and had everything under control, spoke in absolutes. And by the end of the episode, you could see his own foundation crumble underneath him. And I think that's why that line hits like a ton of bricks, because you kind of ended up trusting everything he said. Everything he said felt like, you know, this is fact checked and verified, and this is how everything goes. And when you saw him learning terrifying new information in real time, it really sort of put things into perspective to how dire things were about to get for everyone on Narkina 5. So, but yeah, I love all the prison stuff. I love it in the sense that it's all so beautifully written. And again, Diego Luna acted his like sweet little face off. He went in as this like very confused self, and then like by the next episode or whatever, he, you know, was very much moved in, and you could tell like, he just had the position of someone who'd been there for a while and was also becoming somewhat of a leader to the other guys. So it was just, that's a fascinating thing to have accomplished in about 2 episodes. And that just, anyway, this show sucks. I hate this show. It's so good.
Do you think?
No, that's what it means. He's the definition of a character that has no ego. He's asking questions. He'll ask childish questions. He'll ask what, but he learns, and he takes it forward, and he expands on it, and he'll ask further questions in the future that you may not have the answer. And don't worry about that. This is, I don't know. I feel like this is positive masculinity of trying to learn and control your space and understand it without being domineering. He was caring for every single person involved. He made up for any shortcomings that he saw because he saw them as a family, but he still was him. He was still intelligent. He still broke everything down. But
I will consistently say Book of Boba Fett was patient zero for all of this, because a recurring theme in my head from what I watched Book of Boba Fett was the folly of toxic masculinity, not talking to each other about things, is kind of how the 2 towns ended up kind of in a mess with the people. I forgot. It ended up in the situation, and there was just a bunch of other stuff, and it also was just sort of like showing this sort of like aging and not being able to be the guy that you've always been, and asking for help and making friends and being vulnerable. And that's all like I feel like a lot of that sort of energy was established in that show, and a lot of that carried over as like it's as important as the found family aspect. Is just sort of not being afraid to ask for help when you needed, and to lean on each other. And yeah,
In my opinion,
Andor-
the most masculine thing any man can do is to be a good goddamn dad, is to raise good men. And that's why everyone has a daddy kink. Anyways, what were you going to say about that?
Oh no. Yeah, I was just gonna ask Nidra if she also believes that there are never more than 12 was also Kino Loy's self-realization that he should have known this would have happened because they never ever need more guards.
Wow. Yeah, that's fascinating. I hadn't thought about that. But also I'm not sure how that works. If everyone's locked in, no one's getting off. No one even never more than 12 guards. And I remember when they were loading Cassian in, it seemed like they were kind of spread thin even then, where the one guy was like, "Oh, sorry, I was doing something else, but whatever." Yeah. Wow. I need more time to think about that because I am really curious about what the significance of 12 is also.
Same amount of members on the Jedi Council. Also, why don't you just strip off your clothes and wrap them around your feet and use them as goddamn shoes?
I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough because if that was the case, Home Dude who railed it wouldn't have worked. I don't think cloth is enough, which is why they had the goofy boots on.
Those are snowboarding boots.
Those are ski. I was about to say, Choco, he knows those boots.
I recognized them instantly. I recognized the brand. It was 5150. Those are I know those boots for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good thought. I hadn't thought about using your clothes, but I think maybe Nidra's right. Maybe that's why they wear the boots. But I thought that the realization that the bridge is super flimsy and doesn't have the...
It's not... Well, they said anything that moves isn't electrified.
Yeah.
So that could be really interesting, seeing them sort of utilize that.
Well, I mean,
I think we're gonna get to see something really cool that they do with that.
The simplest explanation for this in electricity or what have you is that the boots are grounded and the clothes they wear are highly conductive. Mm-hmm. It's not cloth. It's like laced with
cortosis or something.
Something, yeah, that is just very conductive to electricity. So they can put it on their feet and it's just gonna amplify it. I guess
maybe they could make boots out of their food hoses that come out of the wall.
Also, humans are kind of,
if you win enough, you cover yourself in flavor.
Yeah.
Humans are also kind of mostly water, and water conducts electricity really well. So there's that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have to wonder how that shower situation, is there electricity in there?
Shower? There was no hard stream. They just spritzed a little bit of Febreze.
Right. That was for
the
sanitization.
And you're expecting.
They had the cool zone thing that happens at theme parks and stuff. You need to be in the misty area.
Yeah. I genuinely thought to myself this episode, no way in hell does Cassian's hair look that good with those type of showers that they get there. There's just no way.
That's one of my complaints in everything, though.
Yeah, you
take off the
can't.
helmet and you're like, you got eyeliner under that? Okay. Never mind. Whatever.
Diego Luna's just fine, and it doesn't matter what situation you put him in, he's fine.
Right. I think it's the Han Solo, or no, it's just Harrison Ford. It's not even Han Solo. It's if people are looking at your hair, kid, we've all got bigger problems.
But Pedro Pascal actually committed to the bit of fully looking like he was wearing a Mandalorian helmet every single time he takes that thing off.
Yeah.
It seems like he's eating air every time he takes his helmet off. He's just like, oh, thank God, yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Also, I'm very nervous because no one sees my face, but also, woo! And that's my favorite bit about the Mandalorian. I need to do a video about a lot of Pedro Pascal isms, because there's a lot of those too.
Pascalisms.
You know, so other than the prison in this episode, we got a lot of Dedra, and we got some tension between her and Cyril. We also got her interrogating my lady Bix. How dare she? That interrogator had a smile on his goddamn face, and I wanted to.
He was so creepy
and choke the life out of him. I would have enjoyed it. I would have smiled back. He probably would have been smiling at me, and it would haunt me for the rest of my life. But whatever. Anyways, in addition to that, we have Dedra's story of going from being boss ass bitch, interrogating others. Like, we saw her win the power in this struggle of a woman in this weird man's world and gain this power. And then we watched her take that power and torture an innocent woman. Whether or not she was going to give her the information. And then we saw her get accosted by a man, showing that power didn't amount to anything in that specific moment. And I feel like that's a full-ass journey that's very worthy of exploring. Allison, how do you feel about that?
Man, that's a really good synopsis of it. Yeah. First of all, Dedra and Cyril, that whole encounter, if you will, so uncomfortable. I was like, I had to rewind it and watch it, because the first time it happened, like, I was so like taken aback by it, I couldn't even like pay attention hardly. Very uncomfortable, but also very like telling and powerful. I think that even the actress for Dedra, I don't know her name unfortunately, but she sort of talks about how like in the earlier episodes, oh, thank you, you root for her because you think that she's the underdog. And the moment that she's no longer the underdog and she's actually beating up on who you know is the real underdog, you lose all that sympathy for her. And that's really, I think, kind of how so many people get so mixed up in the Empire, is they feel like now they're no longer the underdog. And the way that you advance in the Empire is by making new underdogs. And that it's a hard, circle to watch, but I think it's very powerful. And I think that Cyril, he weirds me out. I don't know if he everyone is trying to say that those scenes were like romantic in nature. I don't disagree with that necessarily, because I think that
they were just one-sided.
Yeah, there were definitely some undertones there. But I mean, he also has to just want what she has as far as that power. And I think it's really
want what you want.
It was also very hard to watch her be so shaken up about that after she got back to her office. Because I think a lot of us ladies have probably been in that exact position where you're like just so shell-shocked at, something like that happening. Maybe not to that degree, because that was quite an intense degree, but it was a lot to witness. Yeah.
He felt like hair sniffing guy from Charlie's Angels, but that's my interpretation. Nedra, how'd you feel?
I think you really summed it up when you mentioned the sort of like peaks and valleys of, she's got this power, we've watched her achieve all these, oh look, she's making it, people are taking her seriously, and then she immediately pivots into human rights violations, and then and then she has her powers sort of dampened by a guy who lost his freaking job. He was ousted. Like, he is so far beneath her. And yet he was able to stir her up in that way and completely throw her off herself. And it was like, it really sort of illustrated really beautifully that no matter how much power or social capital you sort of gain, at the end of the day, you're still insert adjective of person here. And in this particular case, it's a woman in the Empire. There's a whole lot there. And I'm not entirely sure about the gender dynamics within the Empire, but I know for sure there's a lot of dynamics about like non-humans and humans in the Empire. But her journey is so interesting to me, and I've never been happier that her name is not pronounced like mine. Originally, I was like, "Oh man, it should have been Deidre." No, it shouldn't have. No, it's Dedra. That's her name. I'm Nidra. This is fun. Cyril, though, I think is an infinitely interesting character because I feel like he was conditioned to want the approval of the Empire since he was a kid, with Uncle Harlow, whoever that is, you know, sort of looming as this presence and this sort of like hand that's been involved in everything. I don't know, Cyril just, God, he is such a fascinating dude.
I was going to say the approval of the Empire. He's still trying to get approval of his mom. She couldn't say a good or decent word about him until he said he was promoted at work.
But do you see, like, it's all related. Like, it's just this sort of like the institution is the ultimate representation of the way he could succeed, the way he could finally make her happy, the way he could finally be the guy who doesn't need to have a private box, maybe? I don't know.
Mother, you got into my special box. I have ways of knowing. The way that line was written was so creepy. He's
just so creepy. Everything about him.
Young in the chat says Cyril has a praise kink. Mommy
he's also like, just a character. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm just saying, if Dedra said, "Good boy," he would just explode. He would just die. He was just like, he would just combust. That's what would happen. But say what you were gonna say. But also, with the added, what's in a special box?
I was just gonna say Cyril. It's like a character you love to hate. Cereal, yeah.
More cereal.
It's Cyril cereal. Cyril's just a character you love to hate, and it's like the secondhand cringe I just get from watching him exist is like so profound. What's in his box? I think probably like leads on Cassian Andor, because he still wants the approval of his mother, of Dedra, of the Empire. He wants to know that he was right, that he was doing the right thing. Like, he wants approval from himself. He's nuts. I think that it's probably leads on Cassian Andor. That's just my guess. So.
I like that. I also love Nidris in chat goes, "It's corn." Nidra, what's in this special box? My theory is it's a Trapper Keeper from the 90s from Lisa Frank, and it has Didra's name written 1,000 times. It has like Mr.
Mr. Dedra.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
With the lock of her hair. That's my theory.
Not awe.
Neither. What do you think is in it?
Poetry. His mixtape. I think he's got. I personally think he wants to be like an artist or something. Like, he wants to be doing the polar opposite of what he's doing right now. But he's doing this because, like we were saying, he has this, like, he's been conditioned to think this is the ultimate way to win approval. But yeah, I definitely think it's poetry, and/or Andor. It's Andor poetry.
Andor poetry.
I'm also thinking it could also be a jar with Rainbow Dash in it. Pep, what do you think it is?
I think it's a perfume bottle called Ode to Justice. And I think that's what Dedra wears. Honestly, the way he hovers over the scent of her, the idea of justice that kind of emanates from her. You know, I've been saying this since the watch party, and I don't know if anyone else agrees, but I don't think he is sexually attracted to her at all. I think he is.
I'm with you.
I think he is like ontologically attracted to her. The way she, you know, carries herself, what she is achieving towards justice and bringing Andor and the rebellion to heel is what makes him hot. You know, I don't think he has anything in the back of his mind about whether or not he wants to be with her. He just wants to stand next to her and enact all of this justice.
I think she probably makes him feel important.
Yeah,
which probably is what he's really attracted to. I 100% agree, and that's why I wasn't even sure if it was like he was trying to flirt with her or not, because it's like it's so uncomfortable and it's also so just Cyril that it's hard to tell.
And that's why I agree with what Young had said earlier of he has a praise kink, because he can't get it at home from his mom. No one cares about what Cyril does, and the only thing that has made any part of his life in the past while, especially going to this soul-crushing job as a space accountant in these endless awkward cubicles, and the only person that saw him for what he knew was Dedra, and he's trying to hold on to that as tight as he can. I also agree. I don't think he's attracted to Dedra, but I do think he has a boner for what he considers justice, and it's way more awkward. St. Pat in the chat says a reply from Palpatine to his fan letter he sent 100% was his personality, but actually written by an assistant. Yes, he has a boner for his time spent in the Hitler Youth. I mean, Palpatine Youth.
Was that a Freudian, or was that... No, I think that was purposeful.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
Nigel says, I think realistically it could be his own detective work into Andor.
I agree.
I have ways of knowing, mother. it felt very Arrested Development.
Very Death Note.
It was Lucille's phone number.
Oh, Nidra wasn't here when we went on our whole Death Note decompensation. She doesn't even know what she's done.
You got some thoughts, Nidra?
Yeah, just that it reminded me of Death Note a lot. What he was like, "Oh, I have ways of knowing. Thank you very much." Also, there's this British show called Misfits, and
I want to get into that.
Misfits.
Yeah, there's a show there's a character named Simon who's played by Ewan Ryan, and he played that one guy on Game of Thrones, like the really creepy one. I forgot his name.
He was the guy that
cuts off penises. Yes.
Yeah, that guy. So he plays a character. It's basically exactly Cyril, except he's a lot more charming, and I absolutely love the parallels there. I low key like Cyril a lot, and like him as in like like him as a like I'd give him a little chin up every day at like school or whatever, but I wouldn't like be the guy's like girlfriend or whatever. But like he doesn't creep me out enough.
When he killed everyone, he would come to you and be like, "Thanks for all the candy."
No, not all. But he doesn't freak me out enough, but also I think it's because I'm looking at him as a character that someone who is mentally stable wrote, and and also the actor. God, he is absolutely seeing him in real life and like that he's not like him at all makes him an even better character to me. And I think this show is too good, man. I can't give everybody their flowers because there's just not enough time, but I think that this is just such a beautifully casted, beautifully directed, beautifully written show. And also I think because it's kind of like it's got its own plebe filter. So like we don't really have to deal with shit tier takes from people who don't really want to engage with it because like they're like, oh, this is boring, and they weed themselves out, and it's brilliant. Yeah. I love it.
They're most
the guy that Dedra got the system from. His name keeps escaping me, but he sat right behind me at the premiere. And I got to talk to him a little bit. He was just like this cool guy. He was like mixed. He was like wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He's just like super chill. And it's weird to see these people out of context and then watch the show and be like, "That was that guy?
That was the Hawaiian shirt guy?
Super chill guy was like gonna." Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, I know the show is running a little bit long. How are you guys doing on time? Because we usually ramp down with a game of Pictionary, but if anyone here, let's do it. If anyone's here is on a rush or anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
I haven't a thing. I'm the reason this party is tardy, so let's go.
Oh no, we spent a good while talking about anime and other stuff and like Saturday morning cartoons. So, we
went a bit off the rails.
It's not you. It's not you. I tried
Good
to
to know.
I've said no.
Hey, listen, we try to be concise on here, but we
ride the wave. We are the Bendu.
But we were concise. It's just that the conversation was so good. Right, we were being concise and moving along, but also talking about things. Right, it's not like we were on a tangent and started saying the same thing 6 times. We were just vibing. So let's move on to.
It's hard not to vibe with that one.
Thank you.
Good company. Also, hi.
Hi, how are you? We've never done a live stream together. This is very exciting.
Hold on.
It is.
If you aren't
This is
mutuals,
funky fresh.
do it.
We are mutuals, I know that. But this is like our first interaction, I believe.
Is it?
At least like, I hate to say in real life because is a live stream.
This is real life. This is real life.
Okay, this is real life.
This is active.
It's not just fantasy.
All right, there's
and
the.
While Pep gets it ready. This is one of the biggest. One of the things I enjoy doing the most is being able to be part of just different people from different places connecting. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool, and I don't know.
It is.
So yeah, if we jump into that chat on Discord, the episode 99 chat, there is a link that we can.
Ramsey Bolton was the name. Thank you to Young on that one. Oh man, the Boltons. Bruce Bolton was a dick. They were all dicks.
Ready?
We need
it's fun. It was not kind of Ramsey on Nacho Libre, and then I meet these other Ramseys, and I was like, you know what? He ain't so bad. He just didn't want to dance at the party. It's all good.
We need a crazy hair guy emoji. I think there are some that we have.
I'm loading in. I have to watch an ad though for some reason. Oh, I'm skipping that.
I don't know what that means.
What?
The ad or the crazy hair guy emoji?
Crazy hair guy emoji.
Oh, we do have them in the Discord. I mean, it's me and Choco in like Super Saiyan hair, but
oh, that is true. I typically keep my hair short, and so crazy hair is nappy hair is a thing, but crazy hair is not so much.
All right, looks like everyone's on, so let's start. Okay, I'll go first.
Also, don't be intimidated by my art skills. When
I will not be intimidated.
Listen,
I'm gonna let my
pretend.
Mine are. I'm just saying I'm not gonna be intimidated because I just know I'm so confident that mine are bad. Is this like a planet?
It is. I mean,
I spelled Dathomir wrong, which is embarrassing, but I typed it fast, and so I didn't think.
I forget what I drew last time when I got this.
What is happening?
It's a red planet with feet picks. That's all.
Oh man.
Feet.
Oh, I know this. Oh. How do you spell it? There we go. The salt. Finally.
Apparently, I've never seen Star Wars because there's a planet of grippers. Huh?
Yeah, I was trying to do something clever with the footprint.
I know. I was like, let me help you guys out. I can't, because I was like, what the foot? And then I was like,
oh my goodness. Okay, how do I draw this?
That's hard though. I don't know how I would have drawn that. To be fair.
I was in the process of drawing Kylo and Luke fighting on the planet, but I probably should have started there anyway.
All right, Choco's going. Oh.
By the way, I'm still here. I'm gonna move to my desktop where I've got two screens because I feel like I'm taking an L right now because of that. That's why I missed the first one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, but this part is very important. What I'm about to do right now.
Oh. Okay.
I feel like that should tell you. That should tell you everything. I actually don't know what else to say.
Am I dumb? Let's think.
I don't.
Oh! Why am I am dumb. Oh God. How do you spell it? How do you spell his freaking name?
Wait, what?
Nadra probably dropped.
I know it. I just have to type it
to a different computer.
Wait, I think I spelled it right, but it's Chirrut, M-way. Right?
There's two R's.
R-R-U-T. Yeah. It's telling me I'm not right. C-H-I. Oh my gosh, you have to type the whole thing. I was just typing Chirrut.
It's okay.
Oh.
We knew you got it. You gave it to me.
I was like, oh, and the Pep just got it because he types fast. A lot of this comes to oh. So whenever it is your turn, you do have to choose something really quickly. Otherwise, it will. Oh,
sorry. That is my bad. I didn't even see that because I was clicked off. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Pep, skip your turn.
Right.
I am. We also have to wait for like Nidra as well. Bezos boyfriend. Hey.
I'm also going to skip my turn. Hopefully,
so sorry.
Nidra will pop back in, but if not, it'll go to you.
All right, here we go. This time I'm going to actually do it and not here's Nidra. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do this. Okay. And then there's like some of this going on. And then usually some of this going on.
Got it.
All right. I think that's about as eloquently as I can.
That was
like,
perfect.
make this perfect. Mine was quite a bit easier than I think. I will say, Choco, you're totally right that was it.
There's nothing
But I
else to
was
draw
like-
at that point. I was like,
I was like, what?
can't tell you what else.
Jeez.
Oh. Oh, why am I keep running into this problem? Is it just... Why? I don't know how to spell this. I don't understand.
Neither do I. I tried a space, I tried an underscore, I tried a dash.
I know.
I mean, Allie's almost there.
It keeps telling me I'm close, but I don't know how many ways.
No, I've been told I'm close like 1,000 times.
Yeah, you can't.
There, I gave you. Oh, there's not enough time left. It was a vibro
What was
dagger.
Dagger.
Oh.
It was like Vibro Blade, close. Vibro Space Blade.
I know. I just kept saying vibroblade over and over again. Okay.
Maybe I should have freehanded it.
It was good. It was a really great drawing. I was just like, oh man. And then you drew Mando. And then I was like, more confusion.
He does use the vibro dagger though.
He does, but immediately I was like, oh, okay, the dark saber. Was what?
Nedrick said Ponda Baba. Is that Bruce Lee?
Who is this man?
Wolverine?
This is wow. The yellow is key apparently. Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
The lane which I have literally no idea.
Stan the alien? Huh?
Ow.
Oh, what?
What is this? Snoke! Oh,
It was a
my
weird
God.
alien guy with a big gray head doing a full pull of
Fair
a blue
enough.
lightsaber with a girl saying "ow." Like I don't.
Nitra, you have to pick fast. Just FYI, if you take too much time. Oh no!
Wait, I've been talking. No, what?
Told
Yeah,
you,
well-
you have to pick fast.
We'll all skip and then get back to you.
Yeah.
I'm calling the police. This is awful.
Is it my turn or do I skip?
I think we should skip back to Nidra.
Okay.
Oh. I was talking this whole time too. It's kind of amazing.
No, it's okay. It goes by so quickly. Like by the time I'd read my options last time, I was thinking about it and they just like disappeared into the void. So not your fault. I tried to warn you.
Is your camera frozen on your end too, Nidra?
I'm calling the police. Yes. We're gonna do this.
All right, it's your turn, Nidra. Pick quickly.
My internet went.
Pick.
I can't.
Oh no!
I'm so sorry.
Well, we Allie, go ahead and draw. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Wow. This is gonna be really okay. Oof. Here we are. Okay, and then we've got just.
Nedrick said that looked so much more like Ponda. It actually did, like the face, but I think what threw me off with Choco's was that he was wearing like a yellow jumpsuit versus a yellow like robe.
He was skinny. That's what was getting. Like he was like.
Oh, and Snoke is not skinny.
He is right.
Snoke's skinny.
But-
Yes or no?
Yes, he is. But it was just like a stick figure, and I guess like I couldn't perceive the. Who else do we have? We have like.
Oh wait.
Oh, that was so ugly. I have to erase that. That's not no. How else do I convey this? There's this. It's
Gotcha.
What?
I'm trying my best. I'm so bad.
What?
He has a tie on.
Oh jeez. How was that tattoo?
Oh man.
Who was it?
I was trying to draw Boba Fett's helmet, so I was like, who else goes to Tatooine? I just can't draw, and so it was, oh man, it was bad. Oh, all right.
So are we waiting for Nidra to join, get her situation set up?
I think maybe we should just go, just in case. But you guys both lost your turn, and I don't think I deserve another turn after that.
It is what it is.
All right. We'll let it circle back around to you.
Okay. It'll circle around if it comes back to me. And she's
All right. Oh no, let's go.
All right.
Is it Snoke again? Oh. Oh no. That's not right. How do you spell his name? Oh my goodness.
I don't know how to convey this. But here.
Wow, what's happening?
It's a species.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, what is his species? It's like,
Not Keenan.
oh, I'm close. Keep typing it wrong. Oh, there we go. Oh, I couldn't remember how to spell it, and then I was like, is it Dorkel?
St. Pat's like, it's a trash can.
Dorkle.
Nedra's back. Nidra's back. I have a teacher named Nedra, and so every time I see your name, I want to call you Nedra, but I know that it's wrong.
I don't think she's in the call, though.
Oh, no. Maybe she wasn't present for me mispronouncing her name. Oh, no! What is this?
Got it.
How do you guys know what this is? Oh,
The coloring. The coloring.
Am I an idiot?
That
What
color
is
is
this?
I mean, listen, it's in your name.
What do you think it is? What does it look like? What does it look like?
A bow?
Okay. All right. So what would the color indicate on the bow? Is part of the bow regular and the other part not? If the other part is not, what would that be then?
What?
Like,
I might not know.
One of them might be made with energy, or
Like a vibro bow? What? I'm never.
Put some hints out there, man.
I know.
I'm working on him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I maybe don't know what this is. Like, as a concept, perhaps, because I'm lost.
Okay, I'm sorry. The Night Sister.
Energy bow. Oh.
Just energy bow. It's a Night Sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it's in your name. I was like,
You're so right. Well, yeah, that's why I was like, I've definitely. Okay. I'm not sure how to do this justice, but we'll try. So we've got. I'm not gonna fill the whole thing in, but then we've got like. And then, oh man, how do I convey this appropriately? You have
Thank
like
you. I promise I've used the internet before.
Yeah, I'm gonna help you guys out. I'm trying my best.
holy.
If no one gets this, oh man, this is just such a testament to me.
Nidra on one try? Oh Jesus!
What?
And it's so bad, Nidra. Don't. We have to. I don't know how to draw this any better than I.
Oh gosh.
I tried.
No, it's not. I'm not. I don't mean to laugh. I'm not laughing. But like Nidra got it first shot, and I have no idea.
Nidra, she was picking up what I was putting down.
That was amazing.
I like how you had Ashron and Revan, like Knights of it. You guys were all over it, except for Claude and abortion.
I'm sorry.
If that's the only 9 points I get,
That's what
that
it
is
looked like to me.
fine. Oh
And that
my
was
God.
fantastic. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is. I think this is a fantastic drawing for what it's worth.
Thank you.
It looks exactly like what it is.
Don't know what else to put in there.
Yeah, no, there's nothing else to put. You kind of killed it. You're very good at drawing. I think we've all learned that maybe.
Okay, so he's a legit artist in the
What is this
fair.
man
But he is
Ma?
drawing. He is drawing with the mouse.
You need the number.
Recently,
I could be
we
drawing
had
with
someone
this.
on there who pulled out a drawing pad, and so he pulled out his drawing pad, and then we were all screwed.
Oh God. I don't. The worst part is that I don't even think that'd help me. Okay, Nidra, let's go.
Kenny said Johnny
Pick
number
fast,
5.
pick
Shout out.
fast, Pick fast.
Just pick
Shout out
something.
to Short
Yay.
Circuit.
Johnny 5 is alive.
I need input.
Just solid.
Is this abortion?
100%.
It started out like an embryo. That's for sure.
Maybe that's the point. Oh. Oh! Oh. How do you spell this?
Oh. Oh.
I spelled it.
No?
Oh, I'm very wrong.
Okay, so that's Satan, right?
Who
Is that not a little pitchfork?
Huh?
What? How'd Choco get it? What is this?
Awesome.
Qui-Gon? When did
Because-
Qui-Gon?
Like I said, that first character was Satan, and it was like, oh yeah, then that's Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh,
did I
I
pick
see
this?
now. You did.
Oh my god. Oh my. How do I make? Oh my. Oh. I don't even.
Oh my god. That's a nice circle.
Oh, there's tools on the left side. You can
There
use.
are. I figured that out when I did Tatooine, but it didn't help anybody. I don't think that was. Oh,
What?
Okay.
It was perfect for Darth Bane.
It was. Yeah.
Huh?
What? Oh, what? No, I still don't understand.
Oh my god. How do I even?
Huh?
Jeez, that's a lot. Hold on.
What? Hmm. Selena.
What was that?
It was Stila Guerrera.
Oh,
Oh,
that
what
is hard.
I would have drawn the,
Am I supposed to
the
draw-
bandana.
Oh goodness. Okay. So we've got. Hold on. Let me start over. I got a better idea. We've got. I think you guys will be able to get this one, maybe.
Boobs. Nope.
And it's.
I was gonna say Luke and Leia, but they're no
Oh.
longer eggs.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to make that. Okay, so and then it kind of looks like, you've got this like with some like this color maybe going on, and then inside of these, you've got. Oh, I'm glad somebody got it. I'm gonna make another one that is an actual scene, so that's helpful. But these kind of look like this, I'm pretty sure. And then this one looks.
You didn't even guess. You just knew.
No, I mean, I knew from the drawing.
Yeah. Oh, I have to be fast. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys the hint, because I mean, I'm sucking at this. Oh. Black melon. I was trying to draw the scene with Kane in there at the end, but then I was like, I don't know how to do that.
I'm gonna skip this.
Oh,
Because I don't have enough time to ask whether or not everybody's read The High Republic.
I read the
haven't.
first
So
one.
thanks. That's nice. Oh, this should be easy. We're all eating, fam.
Just
Okay.
like
You say that, but I'm not the most talented.
Because now I know there's shapes. Oh, this is gonna be so easy.
Now I know their shapes. What?
That looks like an old middle school eraser that I used to use.
Oh.
Wow. My feelings.
Great Jedi. What in the
Rock.
element? How did you get this?
I mean, the colors, the shape.
Tarkin. Oh my gosh.
Turns out I've never seen this character in my life.
It's a character?
I think you're missing the legs.
Oh, because he's got his little blasters on, but that works. They're not red.
Oh no, it's left to me. Oh, yay! Okay. Oh man, that was.
I started off a little confident. Apparently
You did. You really did. The gray really threw me off.
He's gray, right?
I thought he was
No, I mean,
white.
it's not wrong.
I think he can be whatever color you imagine him to be.
This is just like proof that like you need reference photos. Like, you can't
Mhm.
just
I've been
drop
using
it.
reference photos and it hasn't been helpful for anyone.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
I
you
guess
can't just
so,
drop
that's
people
what
off
it
the
is.
dome, I guess. You, by you, I mean me. I promise I've seen
not me.
R2D2 before.
Oh.
All right.
This is
I
good.
forgot what these are called. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
You can say it several ways
They're, I don't think
based
it
on their
counts.
letters.
Yeah.
Those are walkers.
Yeah. I think you have to type in the model number.
You
Or,
say
like,
something.
the
You
name.
say something twice. You say one thing twice.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Woo! We all got it. Beautiful drawing, Choco.
I was like, I'm trying. I know it's not
you.
art, but like, it works.
Oh, this
You're
is so
I
gonna
knew
be
exactly what it was.
so hard to draw,
Who was it?
but here we go.
St. Pat. It was R2D2, the last one that you were guessing jetpack.
So yes, R2 is a jetpack.
Ah, yes, but his legs are on the outside of the.
Okay,
main
that's
body.
Zenyatta.
Hey, Choco, use that energy and translate it into what I'm drawing.
It's just this is
No, it's someone else. Okay, here, let me help you. It would probably help if I used this instead of drawing freehanding circles.
What?
It's really hard to convey. Mm. What's she doing? What is she doing? Okay. You guys are on the right track.
It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense what you were doing.
Now I'm at a loss.
You had it. It was just Meditate.
The whole time I was like, it's Zenyatta.
Oh.
No, and I was like, channel.
Making it more Zenyatta. Alex, did you see the trailer for the new hero?
I did.
Okay.
Well,
As fun as that is, we are severely over time, and it is late for a lot of people. I want to thank Ali and Nidra for joining us tonight. Nidra, especially, I think you were probably you had something you were doing, and then you just had to rush home and get on to be with us. So we appreciate the effort.
Be with me, so I appreciate that. Also, my internet was not cooperating. I'm trying new things with my setup, and so I was over there, but I only have one screen over there, and that was not conducive to Pictionary.
Oh, that's true. Well, next time you're on
we
Dyad.
are mostly grateful for your presence. Yeah, you can always swap back and forth. And Allison, we are infinitely grateful for hanging out with us, especially anyone that's staying out this late. This might be the latest episode of Dyad. This is the latest episode of Dyad that has ever been Dyaded.
Well, I'm a night owl.
We're doing it, y'all.
To a fault, so I'm okay.
Me too. Yay.
So that means like watch party next week.
Yeah, I mean, when you asked me to
episode
watch
10.
party, I was like, that's just my normal. Like, yeah, of course. I can.
Yeah, it's just watching us with us. If you
Yeah.
were already gonna watch it,
Exactly.
just do it.
Exactly.
I do not trust myself to be observed by anyone while I'm watching where I think this episode's going next. I think it's gonna be a whole
a prison
It'll be a
heist.
doozy.
This episode will be the cap on the 3-act arc of Andor in prison. So
Yeah.
Well,
It's gonna be interesting.
as my favorite my favorite follower of Scar, Ed would say, be prepared.
Well, the invite is open, Nidra, and I'm assuming Ali's gonna join us on the watch party next Tuesday night at 11:30 Pacific. But if you want to join us, Nidra, you're more than welcome to join us. Just let me know, and I'll send you the invite.
Roger.
But we'll start with Nidra this time. Just let everybody know where they can follow you and your amazing content on social media.
Nidra Loves Cosplay everywhere except Twitter. There I'm Nidra Loves Jedi. And yeah, I'm an Ahsoka cosplayer a lot of the time when I have the energy. And also I talk way too much about Star Wars. Nidra Loves Cosplay. Nidra... Not enough. But yeah, Nidra Loves Cosplay, Nidra Loves Jedi.
One of the best Ahsokas. Also,
She's
in a
probably my
Ahsoka
favorite
circle
Ahsoka
with
cosplayer.
Ashley Eckstein at Celebration. That was crazy.
That's crazy.
And Ali.
Ali. Okay, so for me, you can just find me at this username right here, Allison of Dathomir. Please ignore the fact that I didn't get the energy bow. That was my bad. Please don't hold that against me. But I would also like to take just a moment to thank Element and Choco for a second. I recently hit 10,000 followers today, and I would not be there if it weren't for them by any means. I remember just having like basically no followers, and Choco saying that I was like one of his favorite Star Wars content creators. And I just remember thinking that was the best thing in the world. So they have been instrumental in the growth of my channel. So thank you guys, and thank you to anyone who follows or who has followed. It means a lot.
Absolutely. Congratulations. on that.
I'm happy to get you on here because I've been trying to get you on something for
I know.
2 years.
I know. This year is finally the year where it's like my life. I only have an exam once a month now, as to where before I would have exams like pretty much every week. So it was hard to like not study for those. So now I'm like a free woman. Invite me on all the time. I'm ready to talk. Finally, I'm breaking my silence.
All right.
All
You might
right.
regret that. I'm also.
You're not going to regret it. You're
Uh,
not going to regret it.
I'm also going to let the boys at Podwan's podcast know because they are excellent. They have an open server, so anyone can feel free to join. It's multi fandom. They talk about Lord of the Rings. They talk about Marvel. They talk about all of the stuff. And so join. And they also have a podcast. They're going through Star Wars Rebels episode.
Oh, I
Arc-
love the pod
Arc-
ones.
And let them know they will let you join in on whatever arc you want to talk about and bring you on. So
Oof. Okay, I'm gonna do it.
I appreciate it. They
But-
do too.
With that said, we do want to give a shout out to all of the podcasts out there. Now, I usually go through every single one, but I'm going to save these key art for when they're around. But you know, Fulcrum Transmissions I'll just do it. Fulcrum Transmissions every Monday. Fulcrum Pod on TikTok and Twitter. The Pod Ones podcast, as Choco mentioned, the House of Holocrons every Friday on Spotify and Apple Music. Kessel Run Relay also Mondays at Kessel Run Relay Pod. Beings of the Galaxy, Beings Podcast, where yours truly and Choco have been voices on this podcast of different characters. My latest one,
It is excellent.
My latest one was a transatlantic person trying to tell his story, no matter what. I need the story told.
I think you broke nature with that. She's like, don't do that ever again. I see it in her eyes.
What do you mean?
Or never stop. Or never stop.
Oh, that's the opposite. Yeah, that's the
These
other
cats are
possibility.
cooking.
Oh, was it a good transatlantic?
It's great.
I love
It's
it.
phenomenal.
And then our good friend twitch.tv/ Cal4, who's I think streaming right now because we are overtime. It's Squad Up Saturday, so go in there and have fun with all of the community members. And then we have Far Far Away Factory, where I've gotten my very own custom Satil Sean t-shirt, the only one in existence, as well as that water bottle stickers. Okay. And our good friends Sith Face Podcast as well, at Sith Face Pod on social media. And there are more of us with Young and Jamal.
Yeah. Awesome people. So out of the last one of them's going to join me on the high ground this Wednesday, and out of the previous one, Sith Face, you can listen to people get drunk and thirst over Thrawn. So both are recommended if you want entertainment. I just wanted to make sure Nature knew that. I felt like it might be up her alley.
And of course, we have to also mention our Dyad Squadron, without which we could not do this weekly. And of course, welcoming our newest Dyad Squadron members, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ven Skywalker. Obi-Wan Kenobi picking the Mantis as his ship, and Ven Skywalker, I'll have to reach out to you for your ship choice as well. And we have to reiterate that if you are tuning in right now, the winners of the winner of the Rey and Kylo art piece is Ram's How. So if you are watching this on a VOD, and you are wondering, please reach out to us on Twitter or TikTok, and we'll get that art piece, that framed art piece, to you as soon as possible. But with that said, that is the end. On to the next one.
For light and for life.
We are all the Republic.
Light and life.
And screw Perrin, he's a terrible husband. We need to kick him off a roof in Coruscant and watch him splat on the ground.
And may the Force be with you.